Okay. Fellow Toastmasters, honored guest, today I'm going to talk to you about continuous improvement. Is anybody familiar with continuous improvement in here? Oh, everybody. Well, that's great. You've heard the name before. Well, US Foods is changing the culture. We are trying to make everybody change their way of thinking. What is continuous improvement? It's always identifying and making changes that result in better outcomes. Continuous improvement, they have many ways of continuous improvement. There's Six Sigma, there's Lean, but what it is, they're tools. They give you, it's training to give you tools to make data-based decisions. So some of those tools I have listed here, the 5 Whys, process maps, DMAIC, which is develop, measure, analyze, improve, and control. So there's various processes and tools that you use in order to make great decisions. One of the big ones that everybody can take away today is 5 Whys. When you go back to your desk and you're doing your process, think, why? Why am I doing this? Why, if there's a problem, why is this a problem? And then ask another, and then you get an answer. Why is that the answer? So they say 5 Whys. Try to get down to 5 Whys in your process to determine the root cause of why. Devonshire, if anybody has had the privilege of being inside there, is truly amazing. There are papers everywhere, there's process maps everywhere, all the way across the board. The NOI team has destroyed the board from being in there for a week. But that's what needs to happen in order to make improvements. You need to break down the processes, start to finish. Look at all of the touch points. Look at the wait time. Waste. Wait time equals waste. How many of you in just one process that you can think of, you hand off to somebody else and you wait? Everybody, yes. So, part of this continuous improvement is identifying the waste. And I know it's hard to see down here, but waste can be identified many different ways. One of that we've identified is wait time. There could be over processing. So how many times you process something and then you have to send it to somebody else and they do their own processing and then they pass it to somebody else for approval. So there's a lot of spider webs of processes that need to be streamlined and standardized to reduce variation so that when we bring people in, it's easy to train. When somebody moves to another department and their workload gets passed off onto somebody else, it's standardized. So it's an easy transition. You can have cross-functional teams, somebody that can go from this team to this team to this team during the busy points in that department. And if the process is standard and you're able to move around and help other departments when they need it. So why do we need this change? If it's not broke, why fix it? Well, it is broke and we need to fix it. Like I said before, when I started, I immediately realized the spider web of processes. It goes here, it goes there. We have homegrown systems that you have to, they put Band-Aids on in order to communicate to this system. Oh, and we have this PeopleSoft. Now we have to put a Band-Aid on this in order to communicate to this system. So it is a mess right now. And they have many teams working very hard in order to understand the processes. One of the main ones right now that they're working on is called quote to cash. And that is touching probably every department, impacts many people, and once it is complete, you will be able to have visibility. How many times have you be doing your process and somebody asks a question, you say, I don't know who I would go to ask that. Where would I find that information out? Well, when the process is mapped, you will be able to identify who you need to talk, who owns that process, what department owns that process, and reach out to them in order to get an answer. How many times do you hear, it depends? It depends. That's not a good answer. There should be no gray area. We should have a black and white answer. This, you have a question, this is how it is processed. This is the answer. Not, well, it depends. If we get it this way, then this is the result. If we get it this way, this is the result. So there is a variation on the data coming in, which results in the it depends. So when you have variation, you get it depends. So this continuous improvement paradigm, what is it? What is the scope of this change? Well, they have kicked off many Greenbelt projects, which is a larger process that impacts multiple people. They have Orange Belt projects, which are smaller in scope, which is one process. They have teams that are all across the company. They have done these training in the field. They have done this training in Rosemont. So the continuous improvement culture will lead through all of US Foods. Always thinking about how we can make things better. How can we improve this process? If you have noticed, there are idea boards now in every department, and so that is a way of getting more bottom-up ideas. That is where some of the Greenbelt and Orange Belt projects did initially start, was from the bottom, but by having the idea boards, you are the ones that are in the process every day. You are the ones where you know where the bottlenecks are, where the wait time are, where the waste is. When you are doing your process, think about that waste. Identify that problem, identify that bottleneck that you have, and put it on the idea board so that we can get results and move forward. And then you will be able to have tools to use in order to improve that one step in the process. So you may have some concerns. What? We don't have a broken process. We don't need to change it. Well, every process has something. I read. So, like I said before, the top down, it's not top down, it's actually bottom up. We are not automating to eliminate, because a lot of the processes can be automated through macros, through different reports, but it's not an automate to eliminate. It is a standardize to reduce variation. And out of the town halls, we have heard that one of the words from the EPS, one of the words to describe working at US Foods is frustrating. That was one of the big answers, frustrating. Continuous improvement will help alleviate that frustration through improved training, through increased visibility, and also through improved and increased communication from the top down, across departments, everywhere. So once again, what is continuous improvement? It is always thinking and identifying, making decisions, making changes that result in better outcomes. And how can we do that as employees? We're going to strive to be the best. We're going to be positive and embrace change and believe that we will win together. And this is all from Brian Williams in the town hall meeting that we had a couple weeks ago, that we can do this. Sweet. And that is it.